Hello, 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 hello. We're back now. It is time for Who to Watch. And I just wanted you to know that I am excited. We're down with one more week left in the NFL. We're into our bowl games now, leading up to the championship. And the high schools have already finished there. So we'll definitely be talking about them on next week. Just wanted to do a little short video right now because I remember this show. Thank you for coming to Who to Watch 2023 football. But what I want you to do is make sure you start subscribing now because we really are getting ready to, in 2024, take this to a whole nother level. I had the opportunity to meet a couple of players since I've spoken to you last who play in the NFL. I'm going to spotlight some of the players that I've seen that one particular, I had an opportunity to meet while he was in college, and now he's playing for an NFL team, and he had a good showing this week. So we'll talk about him later next week. But right now, when I said this is Who to Watch, this is the channel where you come and I talk about who to watch. And basically, my purpose and whole intent for this is to shed spotlight on players specifically who may not get a lot of press, i.e., there's a lot of press on your quarterbacks now, your receivers, and they playing. They really are playing. But now I want to spotlight more on the defensive, the cornerbacks, the safeties. I'm looking at the linemen. I want to look at the defensive linemen as well as the uh, offensive linemen because they don't get a lot of press. And so I want to look at those. But now that we're coming to this last week, some of the focus is also going to be on the teams as well. So some of the standings have already come out with the teams, and I'm not going to go through those right now, but I will want to say this. Remember, I said this is who to watch. Remember, I have a challenge out there. We probably have to wait. We will have to now wait till next year to see who can match the Dolphins' season with no losses all the way through the Super Bowl and win. That hasn't been done in 50 years. I don't know if anybody can do it, but hopefully, we can be able to see that soon. I can't believe it's been 50 years and no one has done it yet. The second thing is, I looked up and I did some research. And so, following in line with my theme, Who to Watch, we can watch now the Cleveland Browns. First of all, let me start and say this. There are four NF teams that have never appeared in a Super Bowl. Those four are the Cleveland Browns, the Detroit Lions, Jacksonville Jaguars, and Houston Texans. So now what we're going to do is we're going to focus on the three out of those four because Cleveland Browns are second place in the AFC North with 11-5 record. Detroit Lions are first place NFC North with 11-4 record. And Jacksonville Jaguars lead the AFC South with 8-7. So we'll see with that. Now, there are the Browns and the Lions, I believe, before there was a Super Bowl. The Browns in 1950, 54, 55, and 64 had won the NFL championship. Those games were prior to the creation of Super Bowl. And the Lions was 1935, 52, 53, 57. So out of the four, the Cleveland Browns, the Detroit Lions, the Jacksonville Jaguars, and Houston Texans, the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Texans, of course, have never appeared in the Super Bowl because they weren't even around during the time when they were doing the NFL championship. So I understand that. But right now, the Cleveland Browns, the Detroit Lions, and Jacksonville Jaguars, as far as where their ranking are in their particular divisions, look like they may have. It's definitely the Browns and the Detroit Lions. And I got to see the Lions play, so we'll talk about that next week. But there are 12 NFL teams. Then I pulled up the 12 NFL, teams that have never won a Super Bowl. They played, but they've never won one. So those 12 teams are, I want to read those off to you real quick. You can look this up. I just Googled it. But it's the Arizona Cardinals, Atlanta Falcons, Buffalo Bills, Carolina Panthers, Cleveland Browns, Detroit Lions, Houston Texans, Jacksonville Jaguars, Los Angeles Chargers, Minnesota Vikings, and Tennessee Titans. So for 2024, I'm going to be looking to see outside of any of these do not make it into the Super Bowl this year, who is going to be heading for their next year. But out of these 12 teams that have never won a Super Bowl, um, we know that the three that I mentioned that have never appeared in a Super Bowl is the Cleveland Browns, the Detroit Lions, and the Jaguars. So that's going to be very, very interesting to see. So I just wanted to come on and say for Who to Watch, it's now winding down for really Who to Watch. I was watching at the beginning, a few weeks ago, I was watching the, who was it? No, it was the Eagles. It was the Philadelphia Eagles. It was the, I think there was 11-0 when they were at the 11-0 record. It was the Eagles, the Kansas City Chiefs, and there's one more. I can't think of who it is right now. But there was another team that was, they all three were like 11-0. And I was like, who's gonna make? Well, we know the Kansas Chiefs not there. We know the Eagles aren't there anymore. And I don't think we still have a. I don't think everybody. We don't have 11-0 anymore. I think everyone has. Let's see, let me check. I don't think we have anyone who's 11. I mean, not 11-0 anymore. But I don't think anyone who's. I think everybody has lost the game. There's no one who's now has not lost any games, and so everybody's now on the same playing field as it relates to that. But that's who to watch. That is going to be very, very interesting to see who is going to come in. And out of those three NFL teams that have never appeared, if one of them will end up in the Super Bowl, will be very, very interesting. I will be very excited to see how that. So I think this is going to be a very good wild card race between those teams that's going to do the wild card. They'll be up for the wild card, as well as going into the division championships and to the Super Bowl. So who I thought would probably be in it may not make it. Now I don't know, but it'll be interesting to see. We're going to look forward to it. So I just wanted to come on and say for the NFL because I didn't give them much attention. I was on the college, but I'm gonna come back next week, probably after the new year, and really go over what's going on with the because we have one more week. Yes, we have one more week left of football with them, so we have one more week to see. But I'll do a recap a little bit of what's been happening so far. I watched the a few games, and now I'm really into the bowl games, trying to kind of capitalize. And I'm gonna say this about the bowl games. I watched another game um, the other day, night before last, I think it was. Or, yes, and so I am very excited about these young men as it relates to the games. And so I'm going to just mention this right now, even though I wanted to, delve on the NFL. I want to talk the next time too about this transfer portal and the bowl games and opting out so you can be ready for the draft. What I saw today or yesterday was very impressive to me. That Caleb Williams, even though he didn't play in the game, he was there on the field with that team. And they won. They had a very good game. As a matter of fact, the young man who played quarterback was outstanding. So we'll talk about that later. But I got to study a little bit more how this portal works. Why do they get to, we'll talk about that later. So anyway, I'm excited to see the Cleveland Browns, Detroit Lions, and Jaguars where they're going to be. So that's who I'm watching. Doing this whole from now until leading into the wild card and who's going to make it into the wild card if they have to, or who's going to make it into the division championship. If any of these three teams will, that's who I'm watching: Cleveland Browns, Detroit Lions, and Jaguars. I expect that the Eagles will probably somehow or another be a contender as well. Kansas City may come back, if they have opportunity, but Dallas looks like they still want to try to make a play for it as well. So I think it's getting pretty interesting now that we are now getting ready to see where the push is with going forward into leading up to the Super Bowl in February. So just remember who to watch. And I don't know what teams you're watching, but when you subscribe, go ahead and put out there who you think the teams are, who you like, and what players you like. I will say this, I have been seeing some serious receivers and running backs. Now, initially I talked about I wanted to focus on the running backs because I didn't think they were getting a lot of press because the receivers are. And I am seeing that I am seeing some running backs now that I'm very impressed with. So we'll come back and excuse me, we'll come back and view what those teams are and who's doing what. And I'm so excited. I'm getting more excited. I'm a baby at this, but I'm getting more excited about seeing the progression of what I'm viewing and then being able to talk to the men and get their feedback. And I'm also looking forward to now reaching out to some former NFL players and setting up a platform where we can have them communicate what they think. And I'll probably try to in 2024 get that done to kind of carry over some of the timeline that's going to be happening when the season ends, because then I'll be heading into basketball. Basketball's going on right now, but I'm waiting for uh, probably another couple of weeks. I'll start looking into the basketball and following that. So I do still want to have the NFL side though, so that we can have some input and kind of get an idea of what people think as it relates to what's colleges, who they're looking for, projection for next year, who to watch for college, who to watch for the NFL teams, as well as even some of the high schools. I'm going to do a little run on the high schools as well because I didn't give them as much attention because of when I launched this, but I'm going to give them a little bit and go back and do some research so we can see who those teams are and those young people who are committing. There's a lot of committing going on, so we'll see who those commitments are and how all that plays out. So thank you so much for coming on to 2023 Who to Watch Football 2023. It's very exciting, and I'm excited that we're going to be able to see some of the greats that are coming up, and hopefully one of those three teams that I mentioned will be able to be in the Super Bowl and maybe even win, or at least be able to have an opportunity to say they played in it. That would be very interesting to me. But and then some of the players that I want to spotlight. So whoever makes it into the Super Bowl, I'm still going to be who to watch. I'll do a little analysis on those teams and their players and whatnot. But right now, I'm just watching for the next week to see who's who and who I like and who I think to watch as far as performance is concerned, and then the teams, and we'll go from there. So thank you for coming in and tuning in on Who to Watch, and have a good day. And like I said, subscribe to the channel or put your thoughts out there for me, and let me know if you want to have any feedback so that I could consider that as I get ready to do the next show. Take care. Bye. Oh, and I want to say this too. I didn't come on to say Merry Christmas and for those of you who celebrate that, but Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, whatever the holidays were for you. And we'll come back right for New Year's anyway, because we've got the bowl games going on all this week, the rest of this week, and so I'll be coming on as we lead up into that. But it was good, having an opportunity. I've really had an exciting time. I'm learning a lot, and so I really appreciate your support. Take care. Bye.